Hi there, this is Ed Herzog with ElementorServices.com, and today I want to show you how to speed up your Elementor website. Now, Elementor has made several improvements to the plugin this year to increase site speed, but I know some people still struggle with the speed of their Elementor website, so I want to make this video to help them out. So first of all, let me show you how quickly the Elementor Services website loads. So I'm going to enter it here into GTmetrix and go ahead and test your site. And while we're waiting for the results of this analysis, let me come over here and just show you what the Elementor Services website looks like. Just scroll down. So this is the website that we're testing out. And by the way, one of the services that I do offer is to help you speed up your Elementor website. So you can come up here to the menu right there, speed up Elementor website, or you can come down here, right here, option number 4, I need help speeding up my Elementor website. So if you don't like to do things yourself, or even if you're, after watching this video, if you're still having issues, feel free to contact me and I'll see what I can do to help you out in terms of speeding up your Elementor website. So first of all, let me show you how quickly the Elementor Services website loads. So I'm going to enter it here into GTmetrix and go ahead and test your site. And while we're waiting for the results of this analysis, let me come over here and just show you what the Elementor Services website looks like. Just scroll down. So this is the website that we're testing out. And by the way, one of the services that I do offer is to help you speed up your Elementor website. So you can come up here to the menu right there, speed up Elementor website, or you can come down here, right here, option number 4, I need help speeding up my Elementor website. So if you don't like to do things yourself, or even if you're, after watching this video, if you're still having issues, feel free to contact me and I'll see what I can do to help you out in terms of speeding up your Elementor website. Now, we're going to come back to this analysis later in this video and look at this a bit more in depth. But for now, what I want to do is start showing you how to speed up your Elementor website. Now, to begin with, you might remember that at the very beginning of this video, I mentioned that Elementor has made improvements to the plugin in order to speed up Elementor websites. However, those improvements are not automatically enabled on your website. You have to go in and enable them. So let me show you how to do that. You come here to Elementor, go to Settings, and then come over here to Experiments. If you scroll down here, see these first 3 here: optimized DOM output, improved asset loading, and improved CSS loading. Make sure that all 3 of those are set to active in order to speed up your Elementor website. So that is my first tip for speeding up your Elementor website. My second tip is to make sure that you're using a lightweight theme. A lightweight theme is going to add less code, fewer resources, fewer assets to your website, and therefore your website will load faster. And the theme that is recommended, particularly for Elementor Pro, is the Hello theme. So let me show you the Hello theme real quick. So let me come over to this tab here. And you see, first of all, the Hello theme is owned and maintained by Elementor themselves. If we come over here and scroll down to take a look at some of the features related to speed, you're going to see that the Hello theme, first of all, loads in 1/4 of a second. It only adds 6 kilobytes of resources to your website, which is incredibly small. And here you see it only requires 2 requests to be sent to your website server. So the Hello theme is what is recommended, particularly for Elementor Pro. If you don't have Elementor Pro, you may want to look at other themes so you have other options in terms of header design and in terms of blog post design. In that case, again, you want to look for a theme that is lightweight. So let me show you how to do that. So what I would suggest is go to Google and type in something like WordPress lightweight theme. So let's go ahead and do that. And then we want recent results. So let's go to Tools and do maybe the past year. And then take a look at several of these posts, 3, 4, 5, maybe even 10, and look for patterns. Look for themes that are mentioned frequently on these different posts, and that should give you an idea of different themes that will load quickly. I mean, right here we see, so in here it says Generate Press, right here again, Generate Press, so that might be one you want to take a look at. And again, look at these with an eye towards headers, footers, blog post layouts that work for what you want to do for your website. Again, this is if you're using the free version of Elementor. For the Pro version, I recommend at least starting with the Hello theme, and if for some reason Hello theme doesn't work, you can do this as well. Again, come here to Google, look at some posts for WordPress lightweight themes, look at patterns for ones you see that show up frequently. Again, this one, we already talked about Generate Press. Here you see Astra, and again, this one, there's Astra getting mentioned again, so that's another one that you might want to look at. Again, you'll see a lot of the same themes getting mentioned over and over again. So if you want your website to load quickly, use a lightweight theme. Use one of the ones here These are one of the ones that are mentioned in these blog posts. My third tip for speeding up your Elementor website is to invest in quality website hosting. This is something that I see quite often in Facebook groups. Is somebody will say, they'll come in and they'll make a post and they'll say, my website is slow, what can I do? And they'll mention their website host. And the responses they get are, the problem is your host. Your host is horrible, it sucks. You need to invest in quality hosting. If you don't have quality hosting, some of the other things that I'm going to mention within this video aren't going to help that much. So make sure that you have a quality website host. And quality hosting does not have to be expensive. I'm here on the website for Fast Comment. That's a host I use. I've been using them for several years. I'm very happy with them. So it's one you can definitely look at. They're not expensive at all. But you can also come here. This is actually how I ended up choosing Fast Comment, is through this website here, Host Advice. I actually see them right here with a rating of 4.8 on over 1,000 reviews. There are other good ones though. This one, Host Armada, I'm not particularly familiar with them, but 236 reviews and a rating of 5.0. Come here to Host Advice. Take a look at what people say about different website hosts and make sure that you pay attention to recent comments, because somebody recently asked me about a website host company. It wasn't one I was familiar with. So I came here, and the company overall had, I believe, a 4.2 rating out of 5.0, which sounds okay. But when I looked at the comments, all the positive comments were over 2 years old. For the past 2 years, every single comment about this particular website host had been negative. So look through the comments. Again, you're getting reviews here from actual users of these different hosting companies. So, this can be a good screening tool for deciding which website host you want to use for your website. Now, as part of this, particularly if you have a local business, make sure that you choose a hosting company that has a data center that is close to where your business is located, because most of your traffic is going to come from one location, wherever your business is located. And so you want to have a data center that is near where your business is. That's one of the things that I like about Fast Comment is they have, here it says they have 10 locations. They need to update their website, because if you'll see in a moment here, they actually have 11 data centers. I'm not aware of any other hosting company that has as many data centers as Fast Comment. So, here you scroll down, you see they have Chicago, Illinois, Dallas, Texas, Newark, New Jersey, Frankfurt in Germany, Amsterdam, London, Singapore, Tokyo, Toronto, Mumbai, and Sydney. So they've got locations throughout the world. So that way you can choose a center. Again, if you have a locally owned business, you can choose a center that is near where your business is located. And that will make sure that, the people who live near you who are going to visit your website will load fast for those people. Now, if you have an international business and you have traffic coming from all over the world, you may also want to put your website on a CDN, on a content delivery network. And the one that a lot of people like and use is Cloudflare. And they do have a free plan that you can at least start with. And what will happen then, your website will still be hosted by your hosting company and have its main location. Let's say, again, in my case, mine is hosted in Dallas, Texas. But I have a visitor coming from, let's say, Hong Kong, visiting my website. Cloudflare will deliver my website from whichever their locations is closest to that person in Hong Kong. And Cloudflare has locations throughout the world. So that will make sure that your website loads quickly for people throughout the world and not just people who are close to, again, in my case, Dallas, Texas. So again, for an international business, definitely look into a CDN, and Cloudflare is one, again, that a lot of people like, and I know a lot of people just use the free version. It works very well. You can also, there are paid CDNs as well. You can look for those if you want, but for most businesses, I think the free version of Cloudflare works quite well. Now, my fourth recommendation for speeding up your Elementor website is to make sure that you're using a caching plugin. Now, if you've been using WordPress for a while, you may already know that you need to use a caching plugin. But for people who are new to WordPress, you may not be aware of the need to use a caching plugin. So let me show you here. If I scroll down, see right here, I'm using WP Fastest Cache. And what I like about this particular plugin is that it's very easy to set up, but also very powerful. It works quite well. So let me just show you here. If I click on Settings, you see everything here is just a single click and it turns things on or off. Now, some of these items here are grayed out because they do also have a paid version. I'm using the free version. I found that in my case, the free version of WP Fastest Cache works quite well. And you see you have the basic features here that you want. Minify HTML, so it decreases the size of the page. minify CSS, decrease the size of the CSS files, combine CSS, reduce HTTP requests to combine CSS files, etc. So this is a plugin that I'm currently using and that I definitely recommend, if you're not using a caching plugin, start with this one here because again, it's very easy to set up. Now, another plugin that you can use in conjunction with your caching plugin is called Auto Optimize. So again, if I come back here to my plugins, see right here, Auto Optimize. And again, it has some things here for optimizing JavaScript and CSS, etc. And you can use this in conjunction with your caching plugin. This is not, Auto Optimize is not considered a caching plugin itself, but it does work well with caching plugins, and it will make your website even faster than just using a caching plugin by itself. Now, if you find for whatever reason a free caching plugin isn't sufficient for your website, you can also look into a paid caching plugin. And again, WP Fastest Cache, as I mentioned, does have a paid version. I can't personally recommend it because I've never used it. But again, based on my experience with the free version of WP Fastest Cache, I would expect that their paid version is quite good as well. The one that I have used and can recommend is WP Rocket, which is this one right here. Again, it's very similar to WP Fastest Cache in the sense that everything is simply one click, but it does have more features than what you'll find in, for example, just the free version of WP Fastest Cache. And they're always pushing out new features in WP Rocket. So if you want a paid caching plugin, WP Rocket is the one that I can recommend based on my personal experience. It's just right now I'm not using it because again, I found for my website right now, a free plugin is sufficient. But if you want to look into WP Rocket, this is one that I can recommend. Now, my next tip for speeding up your Elementor website is to make sure that you compress your images. Again, for an experienced WordPress user, this may be an obvious suggestion, but for those of you who are new to WordPress, you may not know that you need to compress your images. The thing about image files is they tend to be quite large, and they'll definitely slow down your website unless you compress them. And what will happen is this, and I'll show you in a second, there are lots of different plugins you can use to do this, but the image will be compressed to be a lot smaller, 70, 80, 90% smaller, which means your website will load faster, and you'll only lose a small amount of quality. And that amount of quality you lose in the image, it won't be noticeable to your website viewers. Now, most of the plugins that allow you to compress images give you a pretty high monthly limit in terms of the number of images that you can compress for free. Normally 100, 200, 300 images every single month, 100% free. So unless you're uploading a lot of images every month onto your website, you can do all of your compression for free. If you are uploading, 300, 400, 500 images a month, then you may have to pay a little bit, once you exceed those monthly limits. Now, the plugin I'm currently using is this one down here called Robin Image Optimizer. Again, it's one I'm very happy with. It's one I would recommend taking a look at. And the nice thing about this and many of the other plugins is that you can set this to automatically compress images every time you upload a new image onto your website. So that way you don't have to, manually compress your images. You just set it up and it will compress the images the moment that you upload them onto your website. Now let's talk about third-party resources, because third-party resources can definitely slow down your website. Now you may be wondering, what is a third-party resource? It's something that is not directly on your website. It's something that is off-site and is being pulled into your website when somebody loads your website. This is often something like a Google font. It could be an icon. Google Map will be a third-party resource. A chat plugin. Those are not being directly hosted on your website. They're being hosted on a different server and then get pulled into your website. And because it's not directly on your website, they will slow down the loading of your website. Now, as part of this, I want to mention also that WordPress itself, as well as Elementor, may be loading things on your website that aren't necessary for you to use. And so you can go in and eliminate those unnecessary parts, unnecessary code, whether it's JavaScript or CSS, that's being loaded onto your website and slowing it down, and it isn't necessary. And one plugin here that you can use is this one right there, Asset Cleanup. Now, you do have to be careful. Some of this is pretty standard because WordPress actually loads a lot of stuff that is just absolutely 100% unnecessary, and you can get rid of that with one click. But with some of the Elementor stuff, for example, you do need to be careful. Now, this plugin works pretty well. Again, I'm not using it right now because my website loads very quickly as it is, but I have used it in the past, and it is pretty easy to use. You can eliminate a particular script, and then test out your website. And if it breaks your website by not having that particular script, it's very easy to reverse that within this plugin. So again, that's a way to speed up your website, is using a plugin like this, where you can get rid of certain scripts and styles that are automatically loaded by WordPress or by Elementor, or maybe some other plugin that you're using. Maybe you have a plugin that you use only on your blog posts, but it's still loading things on your homepage. Well, you can go in and use a plugin like this here and get rid of that on your homepage, so it just loads on your blog posts, and that way your homepage will be quicker. So this is another recommended plugin that, again, I've used in the past, and I know, obviously, again, you can see here that over 1,200 reviews and 5 stars. So people really like this plugin. It's a very good plugin. So again, one to kind of get rid of some of the unnecessary stuff on your website that's slowing it down. Now, my next tip for speeding up your Elementor website, I believe this is tip number 7, is to look at your speed report and see what recommendations are being made, whether you're using GTmetrix or, there are other websites like Pingdom, which is really good. See what they're saying is slowing down your website, and then make whatever corrections you need to make. So now in my case, I'm not going to get a lot of recommendations, because as you see, my website loads very quickly, but you can come in here in performance, and here, of course, for me at least, it's saying everything is working well. Structure here. Now this will give you a lot more. It will give you some specific recommendations that you can either get more information there. Here it says learn how to improve this, or you can Google it. Again, in my case, I'm not getting a lot of recommendations here. And so, I could go through and make some of these changes. It's not going to make a big difference on my website since it's already loading very quickly. But I could go through here and, okay, I could try to eliminate this right there. By the way, Cloudflare GTmetrix does not consider that to be a CDN, so that does not show up here. So, if you have your website on Cloudflare, you may get this recommendation right here. Again, some very small things here that could potentially speed up my website a little bit. But if your website is loading slowly, go through these recommendations and correct whatever you can. You can take a look here at your waterfall as well to see what's slowing down. This gives you some specific files that are slowing down your website. Again, in my case here, you're seeing some things related to Google fonts, because I'm not currently don't have that plugin right now on my website, the one I showed you earlier. But go through here and see what is slowing it on your website. See what is being recommended, whether it's by GTmetrix or Pingdom or some other speed testing website, and fix whatever you can. And that way your website should load quicker. Now, my final tip for speeding up your Elementor website is this: simplify, simplify, simplify. Simple websites, minimal websites will load a lot quicker than complex websites. And again, this is one of the reasons why my website loads so quickly. It's a very simple, it's a minimal website. So, I have this section right here with a gradient background and some text, a header up there. If you scroll down, a header there. I do have some icons there. Again, I am using Google Fonts. For some reason, you're not seeing my chat plugin. I do have a chat plugin here. Maybe it'll pop up in a moment. I have an About Me section with this photo, and this upgrade to Elementor Pro, and then this footer right there. It's a simple website, but it's very easy to use. The user isn't going to come in here and get confused. That's the other thing about simple websites, about minimal website design, is they tend to be better for your website visitors. Let me just come over here for a second. Every single month, Elementor chooses what they call the websites of that particular month. And what I found with a lot of these websites, and I'm not talking about September in particular because I haven't looked at these ones, but a lot of these websites are, while they're visually interesting in some ways, they're also visually overwhelming. And so I look at these websites and my immediate reaction is I want to hit the back button because there's just too much going on. They're just overwhelming. They're not good for the website visitor. It seems like a lot of people have decided that making cool design is more important than having a good user experience. I'm going to tell you that's absolutely not true. You should always focus on the user experience first. That should be primary because you want your users, when they come to your website, to have a good experience. You do not want to overwhelm them. And I went through 1 month and I tested out the websites that Elementor had chosen as the websites for that particular month. I tested out the speed of all those websites, and they all were really, really slow. 5 seconds, 10 seconds, 20 seconds to load. Because that's the problem. When you put a lot of things on your website, it's going to slow it down. So a lot of these cool tricks that you see people putting onto these websites, they're slowing down their websites and they're making a poor experience for the website visitors. So my recommendation is to simplify, simplify, simplify. Go through your website in detail and take a look. What is on your website that your user really needs? And what is on your website just because it's cool, it's visually interesting, etc. Those cool things, those visually interesting things, they're probably slowing down your website and they're not making for a good user experience. Again, my website is simple, but nobody's going to get confused here. It's not going to overwhelm people. Somebody can come here and very easily see what this website is about. They can very easily see the different options for how I can help them with Elementor. They can come here and read a little bit about me and see a photo of me. Here they can upgrade to Elementor Pro. Again, and there should be a chat button. I'm not sure I'm gonna have to check into that, why my chat button isn't loading. But again, it's a very simple website, but it doesn't overwhelm anybody. It's very easy to use, and most importantly, it loads very quickly. So simplify, 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 go minimal. That is my final recommendation for speeding up your Elementor website. So those are my recommendations for speeding up your Elementor website. And by the way, I will link, I've mentioned throughout this video, a variety of different resources. I will link to those down in the video description below. And again, if you want my help in speeding up your Elementor website, that is a service I offer. Again, you can come right here, right there, speed up Elementor website, or come down here. It's option number 4. I need help speeding up my Elementor website. Just go there, send me the URL to your website. I'll take a look and let you know, basically whether or not it's something I can help you with and how much it will cost. So I hope you found this video helpful. If you have any questions, if you have other recommendations for speeding up an Elementor website, let me know in the comments. I don't know everything, right? I know some things, but you may know some other things. So share your knowledge with the other people who are watching this video. So hope you have a great day, and I hope to see you on the next video. Bye.